would you say that would hold up in a DNA evidence?
Yes.
Bold claim. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of an interesting discussion. Sometimes surprise, we were in the middle of summer sessions, but as usual, we have a little bit of break every once in a while. It was just the four of us, a little break between a lot of our guest episodes. Hope you're enjoying summer sessions so far, and hope you enjoy the rest that is to come after this episode. But yeah, we're just gonna catch up a little bit this week. We ain't seen each other in a long time. We're just gonna have some fun, see what's up, and yeah, I guess we'll just do like a classic roundtable. Haran, what have you been up to? I know you've been in California for like 2 months now. We ain't seen you, man. Some would say that's very sad. So we know you're in a walking boot. So what's that, a boot?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but I injured my foot playing basketball.
Classic.
It's actually been 5 weeks. So, but yeah, I've been in a boot for the last 2.5 weeks, and not fun. But on Sunday, I got to meet up with some people in San Diego that are staying there for like a month or so. So, just they didn't have a car, so I got to show them around the area a little bit. Kind of just piggied off what I did with the car when we went, because they went to like a nice like cliff spot, so I took them there. Man, yeah, it was a chill day, man. I had a good time.
Harsha, you're the other one who's got like I don't know, man. You always got some shit going on, bro. Muther comes every weekend. You're a crazy guy. What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, as everyone knows, I'm in Chicago for school. So I just had midterms past week. And like I mentioned, the school has a bar upstairs.
Yeah.
So after the midterm, we all just got some drinks. And I actually don't remember anything else after I got my first drink.
What?
That's crazy. Please rise. The court of the 69th Judicial Circuit Super Duper Criminal Division is now in session. The Honorable Judge Tarun Alpali presiding.
Everyone be seated. Mr. Stiffjunk, what's today's case?
Your Honor, today's case is the state of Illinois versus Harsha Janavitula.
Is the prosecution ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, listeners of the podcast, my name is Christian Klein, and my co-counsel and I are representing the state of Illinois in this case. We intend to prove that on the day of Thursday, July 20th, 2023, please find Harsha Janavitula guilty of 5 counts of public intoxication, 2 counts of battery, and 2 counts of public indecency. Thank you for your time.
Your Honor, and listeners of the podcast, my name is Haran Chittaranjan, and my co-counsel Mike Ross and I are representing Harsha Janavitula in this case. We intend to prove that on the day of Thursday, July 20th, 2023, please find Harsha Janavitula not guilty of 5 counts of public intoxication, 2 counts of battery, and 2 counts of public indecency. Thank you.
Yeah, Harold.
Shut up.
Shut up, peasant. Prosecution, you may call your first witness to the stand.
Thank you, your loving Sir Majesty the Honor.
What the fuck?
I call to the stand the defendant, Harsha Janavitula. Oh, fuck. Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Paul Pierce. You swear to God?
I object.
Wait, what?
Lock him up!
Yeah.
Sit down, peasant. And concur with the proceedings. Bitch.
Okay.
All right. Now, please, to begin this trial, please state your name for the court.
Harsha Janavitula.
Okay. All right. Let the record stand. That is the truth. Now, to begin recounting this night of July 20th, you are shown on a CCTV feed entering this college bar on your campus of Chicago Booth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And on this CCTV footage, we can see at 6:15 p.m., which, as you know, many members of the listenership may understand, you were very quick at taking your exam, so you were probably the very first one to finish. And during this time at the bar, you are alone because everybody else is still finishing their exams. Hypothetically, you spend $176 in a matter from 6:15 p.m. is when you were seen entering on the CCTV, and your card is charged at 6:54 p.m. So now, that's $176 in 39 minutes. How did you accomplish this? This is an amazing feat of somebody who's studying business. I feel like this is a lot in the red. So could you care to explain yourself?
Sure. As usual, I went to the bar, got a rum and coke.
Yep.
At 6:15 p.m. And it took me 39 minutes to finish that because it was $176.
I do want to make a statement for lying under oath. That is perjury, which is another charge that can be added on. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the court is aware of that fact. Interesting. Now, on the CCTV footage, you can also be seen yelling into your phone. Is it correct that you are a married man?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is it also correct to state that your partner lives separate from you? You don't live in the same household?
Yes.
And your main form of communication is over the phone via text or call?
Right.
Okay. That sucks, buddy.
No further question.
On this CCTV footage, you can be seen yelling into your phone, which is where our initial charge of public intoxication comes into account. Now, you are being charged with being overtly loud during this phone call. However, some of the footage depicts the phone not even being on during a call. You may be yelling into a blank phone. Do you have a history of alcoholic problems, disappearances, wanderings off? Is that something that maybe has happened in your recent or further past?
Yes.
Noted.
I'd like to take that answer back. Can you please say you plead the fifth? You plead the fifth, Your Honor.
Oh, I mean, objection.
You can't object.
Shut
Your
up,
Honor.
peasant. Shut up, peasants. I mean, shut up.
Objection relevancy.
Objection,
Shut
hearsay.
Shut up.
This witness is still drunk, Your Honor.
Objection.
Deny.
Objection.
Let's continue on with the facts that have been presented in the case. After this large, brouhaha of charge of intoxication, you are seen escorted out by the bar security. Witnesses say that you are then seen urinating on the front door of this establishment, which is where our first charge of public indecency comes into account. I don't have any questions. I just would like to lay the storyline out a little bit. Now, before we move on to the next location, you have to get there, correct? And you are now thrown out of this bar is the allegation. Do you like taking the bus, per se?
Yes.
Okay. So then why are there allegations of you yelling at the passengers and staff of this bus?
So on the bus,
Yeah.
there's a rule of once you get on the bus and there's no more seats, you have to stand. And you have to move to the back of the bus so that the new passengers can get on and,
Okay.
not cause traffic. So they weren't doing that. So I wanted to follow the rules.
Oh, so you see yourself as an enforcer of rules, per se.
One could say.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Now we arrive at the second location. Donatello's Deep Dish Delights. A deep dish pizza restaurant located on the other side of Chicago, for those of you who do not know. Now, let's before we get into the events that transpired, let's get some history on you and deep dish pizza. How do you feel about deep dish pizza?
It's mid.
Duly noted. What's been your experience with eating deep dish pizza?
Last time I had it was great. Shared a pizza with 2 other friends and had a good time.
Now, have you had prior incidences where being under a certain influence and combining that with deep dish pizza maybe doesn't lead to the best results?
Yes.
Give him nothing, Harsha. Give him nothing.
Objection. Relevance.
Now,
Shut up. Denied.
now we move on to where we find our second count of public intoxication as an influencer, one of the many famous influencers in Chicago, is walking past Harsha and his friend group. They're sitting at the outdoor seating at this establishment, and she's on IG Live. Super thotty out here, it's primo. But in the background, you can see Harsha, what is described as puking his brains out underneath this outdoor seating table. We can confirm that Harsha was there via an order of 2 pizzas and 4 pitchers of beer at about 7:50 p.m. on the night in question. Now, we know that he did not travel alone due to CCTV from the previous establishment. But how many friends do you think you were traveling with to this pizza place?
3.
So
5. I was
whoa. Your Honor, that's kind of sus.
Don't lie on the stand, peasant.
So 5 friends.
because never mind.
So 6 people total shared 4 pitchers of beer.
We didn't finish it.
Fuck yeah.
Some business student we got over here. All right. Well, I see as though you have some personal things to sort out with your friend group, but we'll move on to the next location in question, which is the apartment/townhouse of our first witness today, Mr. Ravi Shah. Now, how would you describe your relationship with Mr. Ravi Shah?
There's a lot of them out there. I don't know who you're talking about.
But there's only one sitting in this courtroom today, as you may see.
Oh, Ravi Shah. I thought that was Ankit. This guy, I met him like once, maybe.
Okay. Now, for the jury, the listeners of the case, the counts that are charged at the Honorable Mr. Shah's place is 2 counts of battery. Now, there's a lot of witness testimony from this location, which we will get into further on in our trial. Now, I just have a few quick questions about your recount of Mr. Shah's residence. Now, you allegedly brought a bottle of water, or as the judge would say, a bottle of water, to Mr. Shah's residence. Now,
10 points to Gryffindor.
Now, just on a personal note, you seem like a pretty chill dude. So, we can't be sure that bottle of water was a bottle of water, if you know what I mean. Now, how can we tell that this bottle of water was not a bottle of vodka?
Because I don't put vodka in my Cavs water bottle.
For the land.
All in.
So, witness testimony then, continues to say that you used the restroom about a half a dozen times, sang along to only the Migos songs that were played in this establishment, and you begun your to flex your skills, as the kids say, in beer pong. And you were facing two of Mr. Shaw's old friends from his undergraduate days, Brad and Nathan. Now, before we continue on, would you call yourself a beer pong or just a pong professional?
No.
Would you say that you oftentimes win or like have good results when it comes to playing pong?
50-50.
Okay. Now, we will not talk about your pong partner, but we'll leave that for the court to decide later on. While Mr. Shaw was in the kitchen, Harsha and his partner played Mr. Brad and Mr. Nathan, and Harsha and his compatriot won. Remarkably, amazing shooting display. Witnesses recount Mr. Bradley yelling, "Damn, you shoot better than LeBron." And then the next witness account is of Mr. Shaw coming out from his kitchen and seeing Mr. Bradley on the floor with a bloody nose and Mr. Nathan with a shoulder dislocation. Now, these are where our two counts of battery come into play. Your victory in this match must have been such a high point in your career. Yet, we have two white men on the ground with such rash, harsh injuries. Why would you ruin such a good thing, which would be your winning of the game? Let me clarify.
Objection, Your Honor. Prosecutor is only defending because he's white as well. This is racial bias.
Objection denied.
You fucking bastard.
I will let the prosecution continue with the brown on white crime, since I am brown as well.
Wait, what?
Let it ride. Now, would you please answer the question, sir? Why would you ruin such a good feeling?
So you said we won the game.
Yeah.
And they didn't expect me to win with my shooting form, so they got really angry and beat each other up.
So would you say that would hold up in a DNA evidence?
Yes.
Bold claim.
I'm not the father, but I'm their daddy.
Okay. Stop talking.
This isn't Jerry Springer. Relax. Now, would you say you are sometimes more emotionally irrational when you are under the influence of drugs and alcohol and drugs?
As everyone is.
Okay. Now, the last witness testimony at this establishment is that Mr. Harsha begins to cry and paces out of the townhouse very quickly. Now we move to the final scene of this establishment. Nope, that's not the word. That's not the
word. Talk normally, bro. You can't think of two things.
What'd you say?
No, it's like, because it's also hard for me to think while in the British accent. So it's like, if you're using a voice, then it's fucked to think what you're saying.
Now we move to the final location of the actions or the events of July 20th, which is the nightclub Centuries. Again, with a nightclub with a high security, budget. They have very high definition CCTV cameras. You, Mr. Ravi Shah, and a few other unnamed folks enter at around 10:27 p.m. Let me just get a little bit of a personality check on you. What do you think would be your favorite song to hear at the club? A club such as the one Centuries.
Kelly Price, Take Off first. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Indeed. Let the record show. R.I.P. Now, our two witnesses here today, Harsha and Ravi Shah, are seen at the bar on the 5th floor of this establishment with 4 drinks, yet no charges on this witness's card. And a few minutes later, these bathroom cameras show this witness right here taking a flask, running into the men's bathroom, and then squatting between 2 men at the urinals and just chugging this flask. Now, you are in a nightclub that serves alcohol, which is an extremely legal thing to do. Why run to the bathroom and try and sneak in this alcohol?
I didn't sneak it in. I brought an empty flask to the nightclub and poured the drink in there so that when people bump into me, I don't spill it.
Okay, but why the bathroom? And why this ritual of squatting between 2 peeing men?
At Centuries, they have chairs in between the urinals for people to hang out in. So I sat in one of those.
Okay, I think he may have had the chair upside down on the floor, but, to each their own. Now, the next testimony is that our witness here, Harsha, can be seen dancing for about 20 minutes on the dance floor, having a jolly old time before he jumps on the bar counter at approximately 10:58 p.m. Gets a couple moves off before he falls. Yet, nobody is harmed during this incident. However, this display of lack of control leads to 1 charge of public intoxication. Now, I do have a quick question before we continue. Do you have a history of dancing egregiously when drunk, or jumping on counters, or anything of the sort?
No,
Why not?
because I don't dance egregiously.
How would you describe your dancing?
Smooth.
I would like to remind you that perjury is punishable by law. Just got a couple more details that are documented here in the court notes. Obviously, as many of the witnesses and staff here today know, if you fall down in a club, you are more than likely going to get thrown out. So security staff come and try and escort our witness here out. However, before the security reach him, he wants to go down a flight of stairs and gets to a railing. There's a rather tall railing at this club, and he mistakes it for a stripper pole and rips off his shirt through the buttons, rips all the buttons off the seam like Superman, some would say, and begins to twirl it in the air. That in itself, weird but legal. However, these stairs are quite within earshot of the bar, and somebody at the bar is allegedly heard asking for a moonshine shot. Now, a personal note, I think this is great. However, this isn't legal. Our witness here allegedly yells to the crowd behind him, "I'll show you how the moon shines," and pulls his pants down to expose his bare ass. And obviously, as you can tell, this is another count of public indecency. So could you just explain really quickly for those unfamiliar, what is the correlation between moonshine and the act of pulling your pants down?
Well, if somebody would do that, it's because they want to moon somebody.
Okay.
So you take your pants down and show your ass, and that's
Okay.
mooning.
Now, Are you familiar with this? Is this something that has happened or you've done in the past?
No.
I'd like to remind you that perjury is punishable by law. Now, to wrap up the evening, in the court notes here, you are escorted out of the club at 11:08 p.m., where police are promptly waiting for you and concurrently arriving on the scene after being called for a number of disturbances at this club and have backtracked through the rest of the night to file the rest of the charges here. You were booked and released on bond by your lovely wife while awaiting today's trial. During your booking, you blow a .28 into a breathalyzer. Now, do you think a .28 is high?
0.28, just as a number, is not high.
As a blood alcohol concentration, do you believe the ratio of 0.28 is high?
Yeah.
No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
But I have something to say.
Joe.
So
The judge will allow this. The judge will allow this.
So, you guys talking about this pizza place? What was it called again?
Donatello Deep Dish Delight.
Yeah, okay. So the reason I was puking at this place, or caught puking at this place, because Donatello's Deep Dish Delight served me pizza with Donatello's friends, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo, and I ate turtles, and that's why I threw up.
Well, as long as the record shows that he admits to throwing up.
Your
then
Honor,
that's
he's
all I
over
care
time.
about.
Your Honor. God.
Objection denied.
What?
I have no concept of time in this courtroom. I am Father Time and Father Christmas. Defense, you may cross-examine the defendant today. Now.
All right. Objection.
So CCTV also showed that at Harsher School, the Booth School of Business, the people that were walking by there were people walking by and walking up to Harsher because there were snapshots every 5 minutes taken that the prosecution failed to mention. So I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, Your Honor. And so Harsher, is it possible? I know you gave your defense, but you had some drinks, so maybe you don't remember the events that well. But is it possible that you're buying other people these drinks in order to congratulate them on finishing their exam?
Yes.
So, Your Honor, I think that would kind of go to show the amount spent, the $176 that was just spent on rum and cokes. I think he was just buying a bunch of drinks for a lot of people and just leaving it out there so people could take that on their way back, or if they wanted to stay and chat with their friends, just because, he's a very upstanding guy. So, Harsha, is UChicago a public school?
No.
Yeah, that's actually correct. Sorry, incorrect. It is a private institution that was founded in 1890. Yeah, here we are claiming public intoxication that happened at a private institution. Your Honor. Your Honor, come on.
I'm listening.
Moving on. Harsha, is it possible that you were egged on by your friends after you left the building?
Yes.
Exactly, and not to excuse his actions that may or may not have happened that night. But we're just gonna stand here and let this young man get slandered while he's going to a school where he's being clearly influenced by some pretentious white boys that are egging him on to do actions that he was clearly a little impaired by the drink he had, but I'm sure he didn't drink that much. But he's just getting pushed on to do these things that he doesn't want to the rest of the night.
But if I know anything about this guy, he likes getting egged.
Objection, hearsay, hear ye.
Hearsay, dare say, them say. Keep going, King.
Okay, so now we have Harsha. We placed Harsha on the bus that was going to his dinner. Harsha gave his defense.
Bus driver.
Harsha gave his defense, but I also managed to talk to some of his so-called friends that were there, and they had a different recollection
Objection!
of
Fucking random ass witnesses.
Hey man, allow it, Your Honor, allow it.
Let
But Harsha, are you a LeBron James fan?
Yes.
Burn him at the stake.
According to real friends of Harsha, not these people in this group, but just people like, outside of that friend group, we know that he gets passionate.
We as
people, us, me, and the listeners of the
collusion!
podcast. We know that he gets passionate about his idol LeBron James when he's under the influence of alcohol, even not under the influence of alcohol.
conflict of interest.
What?
Continue with the next piece of content.
Where's the conflict
sir.
of interest?
You said you're friends with the defendant.
We, as in, I know to be true by talking to other people.
We, this ain't fucking French. Just continue, bitch.
So who is it to say that he was not just defending LeBron James on the bus to all these rude folk?
Are you trying to get him more charges? I don't really.
Harsha, would you say you would passionately defend him if he was ever questioned about his greatness?
Yeah.
In Chicago, of all cities, may I add?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're. Really
All I'm saying, Your Honor, is that LeBron James recently became the leading scorer in the history of the National Basketball Association. So I think we should allow him to be defended when he gets questioned. And I believe that was what my client was doing on the bus that day.
I hope my lawyer does it. I hope my lawyer does the same thing after this case is over too.
Oh no, this is strictly within the case. Essentially, I guess the biggest point I'm trying to make here is by punishing Harsha, you're punishing LeBron James, and therefore you're telling Harsha to shut up and dribble. Are you okay with that, Your Honor?
Can I double down?
I am personally.
Okay. So now we move on to the dinner, and while we get here, Harsha, I want to ask you, what is the racial makeup of your friend group at UChicago? Specifically, are there some brown people in your group and like brown boys in your group?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that. So, is it possible that Miss Tatiana on IG Live saw Harsha for another person in Harsha's group that were also drinking alcohol that night, and therefore she didn't actually see Harsha throw up, and therefore
Objection.
I'm claiming racial bias.
Objection. The witness already admitted to throwing up.
He said he may have. He didn't have. He never actually.
Objection granted. Granted.
The witness kind of fucked you already.
Objection. I was hungry.
And also, what is the reputation of the establishment? As my client said, there may be other stuff in the food that was included that may have caused this throw up and not related to alcohol in the first place. So it's a lot of things that are unknown that we're trying to make determined, I guess is what. So yeah, and then Harsha, can you talk to us about the injury you suffered in the spring of 2021 related to your shoulder?
Yeah.
And be heartfelt. Be true. Be true.
Objection leading.
That's fair.
Objection granted.
Yeah, so back in 2021, it pains me to even think about it. But
Objection bullshit.
Objection granted.
Your Honor, what side are you on?
I'm on the side of the truth and nothing but the truth.
Indeed.
Bitch.
I was playing an innocent game of one-on-one basketball with my brother, and I blocked a shot because I protect the paint, and after I
Objection.
blocked it,
Just
my shoulder dislocated and never popped back in. I had a series of problems before, did physical therapy, thought it was fixed, and got fucked. And I had to go to the hospital and was given horse tranquilizer and threw up, and they popped my shoulder back in.
So you have a history of
They drugged me. And then I did surgery. I was stuck in a brace for years. But it felt like
objection.
Hey, no
elongating
objections,
the
no
truth.
objections, no objections.
it felt like years that I did physical therapy and contributed to my hair loss. And here I am today with stitches on my shoulder, and I'm stronger than ever.
Objection.
So as you can see, Your Honor, this is a very painful moment in Harsh's life, a defining moment, some would say. And as the prosecutor mentioned, Harsha was crying after the events of what he claimed that Harsha was involved in this fight. But what I believe to be true is after Harsha won his match, he graciously shook the competitor's hands, and then they retaliated with some LeBron slander again. Again, LeBron James brought up into this, and I'm not sure why we're questioning his honors, his highness greatness. But I digress. I digress.
This dude's a meat
So
rider.
clearly Harsha was evidently hurt, but not because of his role in the fight, which I claim against state he unequivocally had no role in. But instead, he was upset because of the injury suffered by Nathan, as it was a PTSD moment for my client. As he stated, he suffered that same injury. And not even that time, that injury, he suffered that injury many times. And all those painful memories came back to him. So are we to believe that this young man next to me would look to inflict that sort of injury on another person after knowing the road to recovery that he went through? I can't. Me personally, cannot believe that he would be involved in brutality.
Sob story. Fucking.
Objection granted. Is this case about you, or is it about this fucker on the stand? Shut the fuck up and continue.
And as a final question for Harsha, actually, a question for you, Your Honor.
Wait, what? Objection. Confusion.
Objection granted. What the fuck? I'm not answering your question, sir. Dickhead.
Okay, I'll ask Harsha a question then. Harsha, when you fell at Centuries, last Christian said, was anyone impacted by your fall?
No.
So if no one was impacted by Harsha's falling, why must we charge him for one count of public intoxication when there is no real effect on anyone there?
We're not charging him with assault, sir.
No, public intoxication.
Because it's just a charge of being
no conversation between the opposing sides of the trial.
But who's this question directed at, actually, then? I'm about to hype. I'm just throwing out the question. Oh, objection hypothetical. What the fuck is this cocker
Wait, it wasn't
doing?
even a question, though. I'm saying we shouldn't
Objection
charge him.
granted.
I'm saying a statement.
Granted.
I'm saying we mustn't charge him if there was no one affected by the
Then
law.
why
The
did you say
definition,
like a question?
the definition of public intoxication means that
That's a
someone needs to be
completely different-
impacted. But who was impacted if he fell on no one? That is all. That is all, Your Honor. I rest my case. No further questions, Your Honor.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement. Dickhead. You may step down.
Thanks.
Defense, you may call your first witness to the stand.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call to the stand Ravi Shah.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That makes me feel so uncomfortable, but yes, I do.
Yeah.
All right. Please state your name for the court.
My name is Ravi Shah.
So first off, in your own words, can you please explain your version of the events that night?
Yes.
I can tell by the look in his eyes, you're so fucked.
So, I have a big house. Very, very big house. Because I'm a rich guy. I own many 7-Elevens in the Chicago tri-state area. And as such, I like to throw parties. And when I throw parties, it goes down. I had my boys, Brad and Nathan, come over. And at some point, I see some bug-eyed bitch walked through the door. And when he entered the door, I was like, hey, I've seen this guy before. Bars. And I was like, who is this guy? So I approached him. And he could barely say anything to my face because he was so intoxicated. But I got a semblance of a Sri something. I was like, oh, when have I met a Sri something before? It's Sri Harsha from the Booth School of Business. And so I was like, I don't want to throw essentially a stray dog into the streets. So I took him in as my own. I gave him a blanket. I gave him a hot cup of cocoa. And he chilled there for a bit. And then we continued to play games, me, Brad, and Nathan. And suddenly I see Harsha by my side, playing Pong. And I'm thinking, you know what? I know him to have terrible, terrible form when it comes to balls.
Objection, Your Honor.
No.
Yes. What objection are you pleading, sir? You cannot just say objection, sir.
I don't know.
Hearsay? I don't know.
Hearsay? No, I mean hearsay because you're talking. It was just mean. Objection, mean. Bullying, sir.
Objection, true. That is very true. I decided to step away and go to the kitchen to concoct a drink because I refused to see such disgrace. Blasphemy. Yes. Thank you, defendant. Defense. I decided to make a rum and coke, casual, usual. And as I entered back into my ginormous, beautiful, expensive living room, Brad and Nathan were on the floor, weeping, sobbing. Brad had a bloody nose, very bloody, all over my white granite countertops. And Nathan's shoulder was out on the floor, 6 feet away from Nathan himself.
Wait, what?
He's discovered them.
Unsure of what to do, I left the scene. And apparently Harsha had too, as I saw him outside crying in front of the townhouse. In an effort to cheer this boy up after what happened, and abandon my friends who were in such pain because I am not a good person, I decided to go to a club called Centuries, in which I own many, many, many tables and alcohol. I take Harsha there, and we enter to the 5th floor where many of my tables are owned. And as such, there's free alcohol everywhere for us to grab. At that point, I start to infiltrate the vicinity of women.
Whoa!
In order to,
Your Honor, I think we're going on a different case. Your Honor, this is next on the docket.
This is this case, right? Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
He pleads the fifth.
Do you need representation, Mr. Rafi Shah?
I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I was infiltrating the kitchen because I was so hungry.
Of the
And so
nightclub?
was that where your night ended? You didn't see Harsha the rest of your night after that?
Objection, leading.
What the fuck?
Denied. Granted. True. Yes, I didn't see Harsha at all after.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for that. For you recounting that night. So first off, can you describe your first impression of Harsha? Well, I guess because you said you didn't talk to him much that night because he wasn't. At least when he first got there, he wasn't speaking. But when you first met Harsha, what was your impression of him?
As I said, he was very drunk.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was speaking to the time before when you said you've seen him before. You met him before.
Yes, I was talking about the time before. As well.
No, he's drunk. I like that question be striked off.
Objection.
Objection denied.
On strike.
Okay, moving on. What is Brad and Nathan's relationship with you? More specifically, can you speak to their aggressive tendencies?
Their relationship, they are homosexuals together. My relationship to them is strictly friendship. What was the third part of that question?
Can you speak to their aggressive tendencies?
I've known Brad and Nathan for many, many years. Even before they were homosexual.
For many centuries, would you say?
Potentially.
Objection. Impossible.
Objection granted. I've known them for a long time. They're not the type to beat each other up. Only other people of color.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Where are you gonna go with that?
No.
Swiftly on.
Moving on. How much alcohol would you say you consumed this night when you do the house? Up to the point when the fight happened. The supposed fight happened.
Somewhat a usual amount. I have $1 million bottle of Patron, and so I like to drink it. I like to drink it, and so I had some, and then I had some beer that was in the palm cups.
So would you say were you a beyond buzz state?
No, I'm
Objection. Liar.
Oh.
Wait.
He said he got a rum and coke, but didn't mention it again when he said how much he drank.
He said, but Haran said up to the point of the fight.
Yeah, but he was in the kitchen.
Yeah, you're making the rum and coke at the point.
Peasant, please pipe down. Let the witness speak. So as I was saying, if people open their fucking ears and shut their mouths, I made the rum and coke.
Can you shut your ear
and brought it to the living room and placed it down. As I said, placed it down and did not drink it because my friends were so much in pain that I decided to leave afterwards. But that is besides the point, because I did not drink that rum and coke, and it still sits there on my table to this day.
Objection wasteful.
So I guess you would say you were not drunk at all the whole night.
I was deathly sober.
Okay.
Amen.
I will remind the court that perjury is another crime that we can add to this man's going list of crimes that
I'm lying. I was so drunk.
And also, were you also stressed about this house party by any chance?
No, I wasn't stressed because I only invited Brad and Nathan because I'm rich and have no friends.
So it was just you, Brad, Nathan, and Harsha and his friends?
In my very big house. Just Harsha, actually, not even his friends.
Right, okay. But anyway, you did say you were drunk, so what is there to say that you are a reasonable witness of this event? That when you also only heard the insult said, and you only saw the final result of this so-called fight. How are we to believe that Harsha had a role in this fight when you weren't even there to witness it? All of it happened.
Because
no further questions, Your Honor.
Because when Harsha entered the residence, although he was very drunk and intoxicated, he had a sinister look on his face. So much so that I was within fear the whole time and did not want to mention until this point because I have a fragile ego and was intimidated by his prowess. And so for that reason, I know in my mind that Brad and Nathan did not hurt each other, but in fact it was the doing of such a maniacal menace of the workings of Sri-H.J. Janavitala.
Let the record show that when the witness says entered the residence, he means his home, not himself.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You're welcome. The prosecution, you may now cross-examine the witness.
Hi. Now, we've gone through a lot of information here in this trial so far. So, in the sake of everybody's time, I'll just ask you a few quick questions. Mr. Shah, thank you for being here today. Now, you've described this a little bit because you visibly saw the defendant here, as you said, like a dog in the streets, more or less. So why did you decide to take this person into your home?
I have no other friends.
Moving on. Have you fraternized with this man before in your life?
Never. Never with a man.
Just objection. What?
Liar.
He's lying, Your Honor.
It's your
Okay.
witness, not mine.
Objection granted. Witness, please tell the full and nothing but the truth. I saw him previously, very drunk, but I never fraternized with him. I was just with him.
Okay. What are your house rules for Pong?
Objection relevance.
Objection granted. Please continue.
Okay. Mr. Shah, what are your thoughts on Mr. Janavitala's idol, LeBron James?
Relevance.
It's tough to say because I only reserve hatred for two people in this world.
Bradley Beal.
And that's Bradley Beal and Kevin Love. And so to ask me for an opinion on somebody so irrelevant to my life and to everyone else's life is just objection relevance, can I say? Objection granted. LeBron James is irrelevant.
Okay,
Please continue with the questions, sir.
So you live within walking distance of this club, Centuries. How often do you attend this place that you say you partially have ownership in some of the tables?
Very often, as I own them.
Okay, man.
Them
so-
at the tables, right? Yeah.
Now, as part owner, you said you get a lot of drinks for free, but how many drinks do you think you would have gotten together once you have entered the nightclub on the alleged night? Just that one specific night, either drinks you paid for or drinks you got as the owner.
Yeah, as I said, there's free drinks everywhere because I own all the tables. I did not purchase anything, and if anything, I stole from them, especially in the kitchen where I stole food. And I told Harsha to do the same.
Yes, but the question asks how many drinks would you suppose you took
Would I
/
su-
stole?
how many drinks I suppose I had?
Yes.
It's hard to say. 3, 4, 5.
Would you say
6.
that Mr. Harsha here had about the same amount during your stay at the nightclub together?
He could have. He should have. He would have.
What?
Interesting. Now, when we get to the end of the night, the defendant here is being detained outside by the police, and I assume not only as the person he went to the club with, but also, I guess now as the owner. What are your thoughts while this defendant was being detained by the police?
As I told you before, I left my friends in a time of need. And I did the same for Harsha when I saw he was being detained, except that in this instance, I also laughed.
Interesting. Now, would you invite this man back into your home in the future, knowing all of the events that transpired earlier in the day?
If he's guilty, yes.
What?
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe there are no further questions.
You may step down from the stand, sir. Both the prosecution and the defense have now arrested the cases. The attorneys will now present their final arguments. Prosecution, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the listening jury, today you've heard a testimony of honestly just a heinous man, top to bottom. In my 35 years of prosecuting for the state of Illinois, I have not heard of such a deviant. So many compounding charges. 9 charges is, as they say, a school record for in the state of Illinois. He's the real Will Chamberlain. Really setting records out here. Now, I would like you to remember some of the facts that have been displayed here today. It is indisputable that the defendant was at this college bar, spent $176 in a matter of 39 minutes. Witnesses' testimony, left, right, and center, of this man's insane, disgusting behavior. If you're going to piss on our door, at least make sure it's open. Says he enjoys riding the public transportation system, yet yells at the bus driver. Donatello is obviously the greatest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And for you to deface his establishment by vomiting on live feed by one of Chicago's top 95 influencers' Instagram lives, it's quite shameful. Now, this poor witness that we have called to the stand today, Ravi, you have tarnished his home, tarnished his mental security. He'll never talk to a stranger again in his life. Now, to beat up 2 strangers, that says allegedly a lot about somebody's character. Now, who's to say that, you would think 1 would be enough, but two's a crowd, and, once he gets a taste, he could never stop. So if we don't lock him up now, you never know where he'll go.
Mad.
It's crazy.
He's blinded by his love, not for his wife, but of LeBron. And so any naysayers, especially in a city that harbors the true GOAT, Michael Jordan, he's bound to get into trouble once again. So if we do not take advantage to lock him up now, we will rue the day. And centuries. A wonderful establishment where I met not only my first, but my second wife as well. A great place. More documented footage of the 2 men in question entering. One of them being charged with something completely different, I guess. Just honestly, lots of strange rituals. I don't want to attack this man's character any more than is obviously necessary. But I think it is important to remember that we are not just speaking, for our jobs, for our safety as people and as prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, but for the children that frequent these nightclubs, for the greater good of not Chicago, because who gives a shit, but for the rest of the world. The people of tomorrow are being tarnished by the disgusting of today, which is, as you can see, the defendant. So I hope you all take into account your loved ones. Imagine if they came across this man during his reign of terror. What may have happened to them? Will they be in a urinal face first while he's chugging from a flask? Think about that.
It's a crazy visual.
I wish you a good day.
The defense, you may now make your closing statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to remind you, Your Honor, and to all those listening, to some of the important information that you should consider when you make your final decision here today. The young, honorable man sat next to me here has an exemplary disciplinary record and clearly had a very misunderstood night out. After finishing exam in record time, he went to the school bar and bought drinks for some of his fellow classmates so they could join him in celebrating a job well done. After sharing the news at an appropriate auditory level with his wife, he was wrongfully removed from the premises. He then made his way across the city to go to dinner, where again there is no evidence that he consumed any additional alcohol. Unfortunate circumstances may have caused him to regurgitate some of the food he had consumed, but again there is no clear evidence that it was even him who threw up in the group. He then made his way to the house party being thrown by Mr. Ravi Shah, and as a responsible man that he is, made sure he was holding onto a water bottle the whole time to stay hydrated. After engaging in a heated game of Pong, the victorious Harsha shook the hands of the losers and was met with verbal abuse of Sir LeBron James. He was taken aback and upset, and then watched as other people defended His Highness' honor, and then had to witness another man's shoulder pop out, which clearly affected him. This horrible man sat next to me, on the other side, may try to convince you all that Harsha was responsible for these actions, but there's no conceivable way that this young, honorable man sat next to me today would inflict such harm on another human being, especially after enduring said injury in the past. What happened later at Centuries was a clear misunderstanding between my client and the other inhabitants of the club, and my client is very remorseful for his actions. Therefore, please find the defendant, Harsha Janavitula, not guilty of 4 counts of public intoxication, 2 counts of battery, and 1 count of public indecency. Thank you.
Now that both parties have concluded their statements, we will have 2 results of this here court. We've got our judge who will make his decision, and we will have the listeners of this audio podcast make a separate decision as the people. So if you would like to listen to this episode on Spotify, there will be a poll. And you can choose this man's fate. We will revisit it in 1 month. And if you never hear from this man again, you'll know he'll be locked up in a better place. So, Judge, I'll turn it over to you. You may make your decision and make your ruling. Over to you, sir.
Oi.
Oh, you're roadman now.
Oi, oi, oi.
The judge is now speaking. The judge will now...
Talk about yourself.
Did the judge just do an intro for himself?
I will now...
Oi, oi.
Oi will now...
Oi.
I can't do this. I will now go through count by count and sentence this fucker accordingly. On the counts of 1 charge of public intoxication for yelling into his phone at the booth bar, we find the defendant guilty.
What the f...
Oi.
Whether or not you're on the phone with your wife, it is incorrect and impolite to speak that way to women.
Wait, what?
I am suddenly now feeling a bit Australian. Please excuse my manners. On the count of 1 charge of public indecency for revenge pissing on the front door of the Booth School of Magic and Wizardry, we find the defendant guilty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
On the count of 1 charge of public intoxication for taking the boss.
Wait, that's not why. It's a lot funnier.
We find the defendant guilty.
Take the train next time. Take Uber.
On the charge of... on the count... what does it say? What did I say? Count of... What is it?
On the count... Wait, what is it? On
On a count of 3.
In terms of the charge of public intoxication at Donatello's Deep Dish Delights, we find the defendant not guilty.
Let's go.
I have also eaten turtles at this establishment. And in fact, I threatened to sue them, but they have no money for me to take away. Because they are a shit sister restaurant to Juan Gonzalez. On the 2 counts of battery in the Ravi Shah household, we find the defendant guilty.
Fuck.
There was no other reasoning that would suggest that Harsha did not inflict that damage on those 2 white people. On the count of public intoxication for falling in the Centuries nightclub, we find the defendant not guilty. However, he is guilty of stupidity. And on the 1 count of public indecency for shining his moon to the club goers of the nightclub Centuries, we find the defendant not guilty. Because I was there and I found it pretty entertaining.
Oh, Judge.
Objection.
Thus, as such, furthermore, I, not you or anybody else, but I, since I hold the power, sentence Sri-H.J. to 25 years of community service. Because I know that he hates charity and doing things for others more than jail itself.
Your Honor, what if... Can I speak freely?
Now you may, since you asked.
What if we trade this offer for my client to record 5 solo episodes?
I will allow that decision.
Let's go.
And as such, thank you and good night. The courtroom has closed. Everybody leave. I don't know.
Damn, Harsha, that was a crazy story you just took us on, man. I hope some of that like jogged your memory a little bit. Like, how do you feel? How do you feel that all went?
I'm glad that my lawyer is so good and I got a good settlement out of it. Didn't have to subpoena anybody.
That's crazy.
And for those listening who go to school with me or affiliated with the school, this never happened, please. This is a joke.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy for you, man, probably. So yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Tuna and I also probably like did stuff, but it's we kind of ran out of time for this.
Yeah, I really took up the whole episode, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It was so selfish, but I guess we can cross that off as one of his solos. I guess.
Yeah.
For the
4 more to go.
Yeah. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Summer Sessions is chugging along. This is a little something different that we thought we'd try out. Crazy, man. Harsha, you're insane. If you like what you heard, you know where to find us. We got Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, YouTube, Amazon, Pocket Casts, wherever you get your shit from, we there. You can find us on Instagram at Interesting Discussion. We got tons of guest posts. You can stay up to date on all of our Summer Sessions guests. We got tons of new people coming in every week. We got some old people coming back for a good time. It's all great. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, let us know. Definitely choose Harsha's fate in the public opinion poll. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see y'all next week with a continuation of Summer Sessions. Hope you guys enjoy. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.